Alrighty, Doc here from North America. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. It's just another fun-filled day. It is Happy to Hump Day. It is Wednesday. So, here we go. Let me see. I'm not sure if I'm hearing volume. Oh, there it is. There we are. Now I hear the volume. Okay, so where we stand now is they're finally, I guess you could say they're finally telling us. It seems like we've got, that we know that we're supposed to have the control of the House. It seems like it's there. So the government has gotten split. We have one more election. Actually, we have two, but one is guaranteed to be a Republican because it's actually two Republicans running against each other in the state of Alaska. So that's really weird. But the end result is that so we have 49, and we'll find out if we have 50 going into December 6th. Oh yeah, sipping my tea. And the former president, what's his name, Donald Trump, has announced his election. So it doesn't end. The country is perpetually in elections. So it just never stops. Anyhow, let's get going with the markets. I vote to go to the market, and there it is right there. Oh, let's check the chat line too. Where's that mouse at? There it is. There's the chat line. I see Robin, and I see George. Hello, guys. How you doing? Now, you can see there the dollar this morning still, still moving down. In other words, they're buying pairs and they're selling dollars, and that's what we expect. Hear all kinds of opinion about what next year will bring, because we are kind of at the end of the year now. People try to close their positions down. They try to go a little flat. That's what creates the buying and selling, is trying to get flat for the taxes. Try to lock in profits. Just all the mechanics as usual. What is important? Matter of fact, Rob and I were having a conversation this morning about different countries and different taxes, and how to deal with what you can buy and what you shouldn't buy, because of taxation. You could buy a Siemens just as easily as you buy like a General Electric. No, Siemens is better than General Electric, but you can buy a Siemens in Germany and get just as good a return out of that as you would, say, buying United Technologies or something like that. But it comes down to taxation. When foreign stocks are taxed more, it makes no sense to try to get invested in them. But anyway, that's besides the point, and that's what we're seeing now with the currencies. Money's trying to flatten out for the year, and we see them buying back pairs. I mean, the dollar has had this massive run. Let's put it up on J4X. It's always fun to look at it on J4X. Where's the mouse? There it is. And we're just going to blow it all up like that. And there's the dollar index. And then when we go back to February, there's January of last year. It's had a heck of a run. And you can see people try to sell it off every so often, like right there or right there, and so forth. Got to take profits sometime. In other words, if you're going to buy something, make money on it, you got to sell some of it so that you can spend it, when it comes down to it. You can't keep on borrowing against it forever. So that is the action we're seeing there. And then let's bring it back down again. You see the Chicago Mercantile Exchange dollar index right there. It's been moving down. You see all that weakness just like on J4X. You see that. You see that weakness there. And at the same time, we are dancing underneath in the weekly again. This is the fourth full week. And it started off, let's see where it started off. Started off right in here the week before, and then confirmed it there. So we're seeing that nice pressure on it, and it's been going down, doing just like J4X is doing, going down. And let's take a peek at it on a weekly basis right there. And there's your weekly, going down. Actually, it's at the bottom end of the range at the moment. We'll see. See if it goes, and the last time it was down that low, it found a way to bounce. But then again, that was at the beginning of last year. And they've taken a good chunk out of the quarter. You can see that. That's pretty impressive. There's the third quarter, and this is the fourth quarter. So they're bringing it back down. But that was just one very continuously grind up from January. So, it's going to take a while to get it back. Maybe it'll come challenge these lows over time. I don't know. It depends on the economics of each country. I know I sound like a wishful thinker about the idea that fundamentals may mean something. But it's one of the only games in town, minus, obviously, of course, the best tool of all is our Chicago Quant Technologies. And then second best tool is looking at the J4X Manhattan tools that we've developed here, with the Hinky-Ashkeys and the slow stochastic and the fast stochastic. So, they're the better tools of fundamentals. Unfortunately, fundamentals have become a tad confusing. Alrighty, let's jump over to the euro if there's no questions. And where's it at? Right there. I think that's it right there. And there's the euro. Euro's looking firm and steady, not taking out yesterday's highs or anything like that, but definitely looking good. Looking good, Billy Ray. And let's take a look at it over on J4X right there. And there it is. There's the euro. You see the euro marching up, doing that thing, coming off its lows, and this is the weekly, and you can see the same thing is going on Chicago Quant right there. We've been in the weekly buy. And you see the same thing over here. It's been in a weekly buy for almost 5 weeks back here. Just as it started off to get going in that first week in there. Then these are the next 4. So, here we go. Hey, George. Like to see SI hold 22 for a start. Oh, man. Not only you, the rest of the universe, too. I'm telling you. I mean, the strangest thing. We can jump over that. Why don't we do that? We'll jump over to the silver. Since you brought it up, let's go look at it. And let's go to silver. And there's silver right there. And then when we look at it on J4X, now there's the weekly. I mean, that's back in 2020. We're looking at, it's challenging areas from 2019 and 20. That is just amazing. You don't see that in gold, I can tell you that. And, they're trying to lift it here. And, you can see the action. It's trying to turn up like it is on, J4X. No, on, what's mine again? Chicago Quant. What's our Chicago Quant? That's it. I knew that. Right there. There's silver. Yeah, and you can see it's been trying to march up the same way. We're getting that strength. But, the J4X shows you how much, they beat up on this thing from... I guess this is January of last year. They took it up, brought it up into the 26, 27 area, maybe even some 28 area or close to it. And then they just, from the first quarter on, going into the second quarter, they just drove it down into the ground. They just ripped it up. I mean, like a 30% drop. That was really a push on that, the central banks use it. They use it to offset currencies. So, you get this rampage in the dollar. Think about it this way too, and that is, you see that chart in J4X, the weekly there, for the year. Basically, here it goes up and goes down, and pretty much that's what the dollar did against a lot of currencies. In this case here, it was this. Where's that? That's April. So it's starting the second quarter. It starts just getting crushed. I guess they gave up on it. I mean, you have this inflation thing, right? So you have to assume that this push here is like, oh, we got inflation. Oh, it's not transitory. Oh, I mean, basically that's what it really came down to. Is you had the Secretary of Treasury, Mrs. Yellen, who was a former Fed chair. You had the President of the United States. You had the head of the Federal Reserve, Powell. You had the media, the U.S. mainstream, old mainstream media telling you, no worries, no inflation, it's all hogwash. So now when you go to your store, no matter where you are on the planet, and you try to buy the same thing you bought last year, it seems to be 20% higher or 30% higher or something of that nature. You try to fill up your machine that you ride in, you find it 30 or 40% higher. You try to heat your house, you find it 30 or 40 or even more higher. So what was their malfunction? What was the president's malfunction? What was the chairman of the Federal Reserve's malfunction? What was the Secretary of Treasurer's malfunction? And what was the mainstream media's malfunction, that they would see prices rising and tell us, don't look behind that curtain. It's not real. It's all fake. So, weekly green signal line looks great. Yeah, it is. It's launching. You can see that. Matter of fact, and you can see it on both of them. You see it on J4X too. It looks very solid. It's at the top end of the range, and that'll probably hesitate, but the product itself could keep on going. I mean, let's take a look at Chicago Quant. Remember, this is based off of futures contracts, and so the data doesn't look so great as it goes further out. You can see there, that's all the way out to, that's out to April. That's not too bad. And then it dies in April. You see there, we don't, nothing here. It's a futures contract. So it looks like the green line on Chicago Quant is definitely rocking there. There's no doubt about that. So we just keep on following and trading and so forth. It's just another adventure. But it is something that, here we are at 22. You think the thing should be like in my head, it should be trading at 42, not 22. But, with the inflation and all. But, what are you going to do? You can't get these, you can't, even now the President of the United States tells us that we're not in a recession. We've had 2 full quarters of minus growth. But somehow or another, we're not in a recession. Just like we didn't have inflation, I mean, why pay attention to these people anymore? They are so far and so wrong. Put my record up against theirs, they're done. Put a fork in them, they're cooked. All right, from there, we'll go back to the currencies. But that was fun looking at that. And George, you see something you want to look at, just shout it out. We'll go look at it. I like drifting around. I like to see what's going on, and I don't always have a chance to do that type of analysis and look at things. But it's kind of fun when you go back and look at it. At least that was for me a few minutes ago. I really enjoy that. I get a kick out of it. I get a chance to throw my 10-cent opinion in. And let's see, now from there, we go back to the currencies. And what we're looking at, Mr. and Mrs. Euro, right? Yeah, there it is. There's Mr. Euro. He's trading up into the 104s, which is really nice compared to 97. And you see the green line there too. Same thing on the daily. The weekly, look at the weekly. It looks like silver. It's got that same rocket shot. It's 4 weeks in the buy. It doesn't want to give up. It's look, at this point, I think the interest rates in the States are probably going to be in this range for a while. And, look, with the way the election just turned out, Republicans are going to be able to stop a lot of stupid spending. Which will reduce inflation. And it's really disingenuous for the Fed. I can understand Mrs. Yellen because, she's a political hack. And so, she's a Democrat. So I can understand her, twisted interpretation of what's going on. Because it's just, she's, as we say on Wall Street, she's talking her book. That's what it comes down to. She's talking her book. She's talking Democrat policies. But Mr. Powell's job is to control the inflation. And he's done a very poor job about it. And he basically, what he's done is he has, what do they call it? He's aided and abetted. In other words, he's supported all the heavy spending and the creation of the inflation, which means he understands that inflation could go away much faster if responsible politicians start to stop the spending. In other words, just spend what comes in. Stop borrowing. They've borrowed trillions. Not just 1, 2, or 3, but like 5, 6, or 7. So it's like, stop the borrowing. Stop it. And that'll cut back on the inflation. And then he doesn't have to raise rates anymore, which means it brings it down, which means foreign currencies get more buying power. It means gold and silver go up in value. Okay. And let's go from there to the cable. And you can see cable doing the same thing. And, you know, another 4-weeker and a weekly buy. It almost was 5. It's very close. And let's put it up over here. There it is right there. There's your weekly, same thing. It's like there's 3, there's 5. 5 solid weeks. Green line above. 7 out of 6. So 6 out of 7 weeks, right there. You know, just trying to push up. And then we go to the daily. There's the daily. See there, same gig. Janos, how do I turn off that execution thing? I can only move it around. I want to get rid of it. And then from there, you can see, you know, the green line on the daily is trying to break down a little bit. This is the cable. You can see the same thing over here on Chicago Quant. It's trying to break down. In this case here, it's still just hitting the manifold, as you see right there. So when it's just hitting the manifold like that, you know, just right there, you know, it basically is, you know, it's not breaking through the 0 line, so it's not giving us a sell or anything. Oop, made that too big. Let's go with that. There we go. There we are. So that's the cable. The cable's, you know, going through its, you know, it's an interest rate thing, I guess, more than anything else. I don't know. Maybe the new prime minister is going to govern well. But I think, you know, looking at it, seeing silver up for almost 5 weeks, and you see, you know, on J4X the same thing, and then you see it on, you know, the same thing with other currencies, and you see it in interest rate drop. You know, it obviously is more of a physical fundamental. Lower rates moves a currency one way. Higher rates move another currency another way. All right. From there. Oh, it says, Robin says, traders, you're welcome to ask questions. Cool. Indeed, indeed. All right. So from there, we zip over to the Swiss. And every day I'm like, yay! Swiss is starting to join the gang again. Has joined the gang. You see it moving down. And the dollar's losing value. That's a good thing. Because our dollar is way too strong. And let's take a look at it over here on Chicano Core. Chicago Quant Tech. Right there. There's the Swiss. Marching along smooth and steady. A little interesting there on that bounce, though, huh? Weekly still pressing down there. And over on J4X, you can see, you know, it's daily is trying to bounce up. No green yet. Same situation as we see right here. And at the same time, the weekly, right there, you know, drifting southwardly, you know, heading down. No big excitement there. Just the fact that it's back in the saddle again. Back in the saddle again. Yes, indeed, back in the saddle again. So it's nice to see the currency. That and the yen. The yen's been doing the same twisty thing. Both of them really got squeezed on this last interest rate shift. They must be leveraged more than we realize. I mean, think about it. Evergrande in China, $7 trillion leverage. $7 trillion. Not billion, not million, $7 trillion. No wonder they can't grow. No wonder they don't have a currency. Are you kidding me? Can you imagine what it could be with a currency? Imagine if the currency went from 7 to 10. That'd be 30% more. That'd be another, like, you know, you're talking about another $2.5 trillion. They'd be in debt for like $9.5 trillion. So that's why they don't have a currency, and that's why I can't take them serious when they talk about actually. Can you imagine them trying to lock their currency into gold and oil? They would be like, it'd be more like a broker dealer. They would be like people would be exercising their currency all the time just to get the gold and the oil. What a crazy thing! And the media just shows you the financial media is so immature, such a strange little beast anymore compared to the old days. I mean, it should be talked about very seriously. Something called arbitrage, something called bid and offer, fair value, the basics in trading and fundamentals. Fair value, looking at intrinsic value. I mean, right now it's the government guaranteeing that it's 7.1 to the dollar. I mean, how come Hong Kong, which is a much more prosperous place, is 10 to the dollar? How come China doesn't go to 10 to the dollar? You kidding me? They would be like, it's bad enough that they're already bankrupt. They'd be really, really bankrupt. And they don't want to spend the money that they've acquired on saving the country, obviously. Hence, that's why they, Evergrande investors are owed $7 trillion. All right. From there, where do we go from there? Let's go. Oh, yes, there's the yen. I don't think I have much to say about that, more than just what I've said. And the yen, in many ways, looks like the Swiss franc. Same thing. A couple days down, started back a couple of weeks ago, and confirmed last week, and now this week, and So I mean, it's whatever. Like I said, it's leverage. There's no doubt about it. It is interest rates that and inflation that have had the effect on Switzerland and Japan. They're obviously supported in some financial way that when those interest rates got to that point and the inflation rate combined together, it really started putting pressure on them, and that's why the Federal Reserve had to step in and do swaps with Switzerland and so forth to give them that short-term money necessary. And I'm told that they did it in Japan, but I don't have any evidence more than just some stories that I've read. That's about it. But we saw it actually happen in the United States, so with Switzerland. All right, from there we drift over to our little favorite, the dollar Turkish lira. Right there. It looks like it's a little firm there today. In a daily buy now for a fourth day, in a weekly buy for 41 weeks, as we said before. And let's put it up over here. Right there. And you see there the daily is fine. It's trying to turn up, just like ours is right there. Matter of fact, we're not even seeing how high it is. Let's see what we do here. Let's bring this down just a little bit like that. And we're going to scrunch this puppy up. See if we can get a better flavor of... Okay, there we go. Yeah, see, it's curving. There we are. So you can see it's trying to curve a little bit. Not touching the manifold or anything, so I mean, it's not exactly super, ooper, duper negative. It's just showing some little selling going on internally. Now, no. Let's take a look at that is the weekly. So let's go to the daily. And you see there, it's been lifting up. It's got a lot of green. It's trying to perk its head up. It's got some room to go. And then from there we go to, as I call it every day, location. And that is the Euro Turkish Lira. And that baby's on a rampage. See the same thing over there on Chicago Quant. And solid 4 weeks in a buy and a solid bunch of days. What's that? 4. That's 8, 9 full days in a buy. Almost 2 full weeks. This is like the third week. We're into the third week already. Because it was 4 days of the first week, 5 days of the second week, and today is that 5th day of the second week. So it must have gone in there like on a Wednesday. And we'll see how this... no, I guess it's a Thursday. So it was like Thursday, Friday. then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then Monday, Tuesday, and now Wednesday. So it's been 3 weeks in the buy. All right. And did we look at it on the weekly here? I think we did. Let's just double check it again. We'll recognize it in a second. There it is. Yeah, that's even more stronger. That's 5 full weeks compared to R4. And you can see, like I said, it was starting to perk up before it did that. Just missed getting in there. Just missed it to be 5 right there. All right. Let's see. What's next? Let's jump over to... where do we? Oh, we look at the two currencies that match up to commodities. We'll look at the Canadian dollar against the dollar, U.S. dollar, and we'll look at oil. And the second one will be the South African rand against the gold. And then we finish off by looking at south of the border of the United States, and that is the Mexican currency. Here we go. There's the CAD. It's been marching down. It's in that sell now for, was that 4? And, yeah, 4 right there. And then another 4 right there. So it's 9 days. And then we jump over to the weekly. You see the weekly has been pretty much the same way, pressured down. Let's look at it over here. You see that pressured. What's going on here? Oh yeah, so the weekly 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of 7 weeks pressing up. You see the green line here above the dashed line. So that pressure has been on the upside. On the... No, wait a minute. That's a Turkish lira. I'm looking at the chart and going, no, that doesn't match up. That doesn't match up. There it is. And there it is right there instead. That's better. Going down 4 weeks. Exactly. That makes more sense. You see that pressure on it right there. Now let's jump over to oil on the Chicago side of it. And we'll leave the currency up on the J4X side of it. And there it is right there. You can see it has been sideways, really. It lifts up, falls down, lifts up, falls down. Today should be a fall down, and it's not falling down. But you can see the daily slid into the sell here and is still on the sell. But it has done nothing but go down one day and then go back up. And that's where we are now. Now, the weekly, all week, we started Monday on this, so we knew that you don't really want to be fooling with the sell side of this, even with it in the weekly sell. So we went into a daily buy, come in on Monday, and the weekly is through, and we go into a daily sell, and then now we've just been hesitant sideways and trapped in a situation where you don't really want to try to shift your position unless you need to. In that case there, you're following the daily. And the overall trend, the weekly may come back into pattern in the sense that it'll get back into that buy of what was in there just 2 weeks, yeah. 2 weeks, but 2 strong weeks. And then the last moment, they knocked it down into the sell. All right, and then half of the third week back was almost in the buy for like literally most of the week right there. It started off like on Monday. Now let's take a look at it on the daily basis. Right there. So there's your daily on the J4X. You can see that pressure's on it, and you can see the crude oil itself sitting there like that. So that's the song that they're singing. That's the dance they're dancing. And what else can we say about crude and the Canadian? Like I said many a time here, I'm perplexed to actually see the as I try to open up a pack of gum. I'm perplexed to see that heading towards the middle of the northern hemisphere winter, that energy contracts are low, not up. You would think that they'd be up. Must be confidence that the political system is going to save the world here. So in other words, the U.S. political system is going to do something positive and get fuel flowing again. I guess that's the best way. from there, we're going to flip over to the South African Rand. Where's it at? Right there. Right there. And let's put the currency in like right there. There it is. And it's been marching down as gold. We'll do it on J4X. As gold has been marching up. Up and away. Look at that. Gold marching up. That's a daily, not a weekly. That's pretty cool. And so when the South African Rand sees gold gaining in value, it gains against the dollar. Now that's much better than trying to compare oil against Canadian, but that is one of the goodies. Let's put it that way. I'm sure if we had a very liquid... I'm not even sure about the Saudi Arabian currency. No one ever talks about it or trades it, but you would think that it would be a very solid currency. I don't know if it's a fixed thing like the way the Chinese are or what. So we'll have to look into that sometime. One of the big oil producers and their currency, whoever trades liquidly, We won't get an additional audience due to our J4X notification system being down. Okay, that's all right. It is switched off when not used for prolonged periods. Okay. So, what about the... Well, people will tune in. When I go and look on the YouTube, I see that there's 30, 40, 50 people coming in on the YouTube. So that's good. I mean, it'll be nice to have more people asking questions. Welcome back, Janos. How do I turn off that bid offer thing on the middle of the J4X? And how about that fall apart on the crypto exchange, huh? Was that something or what? I was talking with, remember, oh, God, why can't I remember his name? Let me just go find his name. I was talking. Every time cryptos get freaked out, I end up talking with him. He used to do webinars here at Dugoscopy, and for some reason, I'm having this senior moment where I'm not remembering his name. So let me see. Oh, okay. Was it on your screen? Okay, on the icon. There it is. Oh, you've answered a few of them. Let's see. There is an icon on the full toolbar for it. Okay, let's find it. So there's an icon on there. Let's see. On your screen, click the arrow near the more sign. More. There's a more sign? What's the more sign? Is that like an arrow? Sideways, tools. What's that cute little snowflake thing? That's a pattern. New order widget. Could it be that? There we go. Cool. See that? You can teach an old dog a new trick. Wilco, that's it. I had to bark to remember. It was Wilco. So, Wilco is still deeply involved in the that industry. He is very active in it. So I knew I just had to bark. If I barked, automatically I remembered Wilco's name. Yeah, Wilco. He basically, it's like, in the end result, Dukascopy was very smart to have Bitcoin as one of its products that they're willing to trade, because it's one of the only real cryptos that I trust. I think Ethereum's okay too. But after that, it's the wallet thing and the exchange thing that's goofy. Why would anybody put their crypto in a wallet? I remember when I first bought Bitcoin years ago, I thought to myself, why are people putting things in wallets or exchanges? What's that malfunction about? I mean, why would you do that? I mean, the idea is for you to have a product or an equity that is not untraceable, but controlled by you totally, individually. Why would I want to go to a second party? If I was going to do that, I'd put it in a bank somewhere, All right. From there, where do we go from there? That's that's gold. So there's gold, and you see South African rand heading south like that. And then we'll do the same thing. Put the South African rand up on J4X, and you see all that movement down, just like we have it right there. Same movement down, Oh, what's that? What's over? You mean the disaster, that the crypto disaster, FTX founder? Yeah. Well, it's I guess what it does in the end, it tells people to if you're going to do cryptos, do them. Don't pretend. Don't put them in a wallet somewhere. Keep them. Put them on a couple of sticks. You can put them on backup sticks, write them down, do whatever, take a snapshot, and park it somewhere. All right. So that does the two currencies that we follow commodities. And you know what we'll do is we'll go to Bitcoin after we do a Mexican peso. Let's see, where is that at? Here's the Mexican peso. Right there. You can see, I think it's reading the election myself. I think it's going to start a head, break down underneath, like when Trump was in office, where it was in the 16s and 17s. Let's see what we can do about getting something like that up on the screen. Let's go to J4X. J baby. And there it is right there. Let's put the weekly in right there. Let's make it the whole screen and go back to the future. Yeah, so during the Trump years, look at that thing, was like from here to there. It was like, this was like the Trump years until the what do you call it? They came up with a new, this is the Trump years from here all the way to there. That's the Trump years. So it looks like they're trying to get back down into the 17s, maybe the high or low 18s, high 17s, low 18s, like the Trump years. That's what I'm thinking. Let's take a look at the daily now. Oh, that's a nice slow steady burn now for, what's that, 1 2 3 4 weeks. Same thing over here on Chicano Quant Technologies. Right there. Oh, no, don't move that. There we go. Just leave it where it's, the Fibonacci where it's at. There we go. We've been in that weekly sell the same way for 5 weeks, just driving south. Pressing down. And daily wise, we had one little buy, look at that right there. One little buy. And then it jacked itself up. So we went into the sell there, kept on bouncing down, had a couple of days of firmness, went into a buy, collapsed, back in the saddle again. But notice that right there, it's now playing that range. So I guess they're trying to say, should we be positive? Should we think that maybe we should own more peso compared to the dollar? If Trump's party's in there now, what the hey, maybe things are going to change. And the most important place is the House of Representatives, where they spend the money. Show me the money. That's exactly what it comes down to. Show me the money. Maybe we should, hey Giannis, maybe we should make that the title today. Show me the money. All right. From there, where do we head from there? Okay, we're done the currencies, unless someone wants to see one. And what we'll do now is we'll jump over to... Oh, let's go take a look at... there's a intraday... what do you call it? The S&P 500. I guess we're playing with the lower ends of the range there. But let's jump over to Bitcoin. And there's gold. And then from gold we'll go over to the Bitcoin. We'll go over, I mean the currencies. We'll go to the currencies. And there is the Bitcoin right there. There's the, what is that? That's the November contract. It's kind of really, ever since the collapse, it's just been hiding in this area. You know, it goes into the sell here. You know, it's down. Tries to get into it goes into a buy here. And now is back in the sell again right there. But it looks like it's trying to perk its head up, but it is down for the day. And we're in the weekly sell. So, you know, that's the Bitcoin. Let's take a look on J4X. All right, it's looking the same exact way. You can see it's trying to curve. You know, it's trying to get it. It just needs some green over here. Oh, we're actually getting some green, so it's starting to tell you, think about buying. And you can see over on Chicago Quant, we got that going on the daily too, like right there. And then, let's see what the weekly looks like. Let's see. And there you can see a couple weeks in the sell, same situation as on Chicago, right there. And that is the magic. All right, now from there, let's jump over to, where are we going to jump to? Let's jump to the metals complex. Let's take a look at gold. Because I always kind of think of Bitcoin more like gold than I do like energy. I don't think of it as energy at all. There's gold, looking firm, looking steady. Feeling good, Billy Ray. Looking good, Lewis. Let's see. My September 11th movie. And let's get into the gold right there. There it is. Perking its head up, looking good. That's the weekly. And where's it at here? Oh, we want to go to the daily now. That's it. Let's go to daily. There's the daily. Same thing. Nice march up. It's kind of stalling out a little bit. Again, I imagine everybody's watching the interest rate universe, the inflation, and now the election. Now that it seems like it's over with, almost. You know, I mean, we have all the way to December 6th now. It's election. It's like election something. I don't even know what to call it. Election month? Election quarter? Maybe election quarter. It's a whole quarter of elections. All right. From there, we saw silver. It was nice that George woke us up to the fact of looking at silver, which is nice. That silver has been on a nice angle for a while. All the way back in October, it was doing it, you know, trying to lift. So we're looking forward to seeing higher prices in silver. You know, it's just, I guess, you know, again, it's almost like a warning label. You know, with quantitative easing, warning, warning. Fundamentals don't normally function, and slash, you know, inflation means, then it means inflation has no real effect on equities or commodities on some level. And that's really what it comes down to. Is it's the battle between currency trading against the with metals against the dollar. So it's basically a battle between the dollar and the commodities and the currency pairs. It's a definite aggressive war. There's no doubt about it. Ooh, T. From there, we go over to, where we go from there? Let's go to, Copper. Let's take a look at copper. I think it pushed itself into a sell yesterday. I was a little surprised about that. And you can see the weakness in there today. See a green line's been under for 1, 2, 3 days now. So it's been trying to tell us up here, beware Will Robinson. And then let's put it up over here. Right there. Yeah, it closed in the daily sell yesterday, I think it was. Let's just double check. No, it did not. It's playing with it today. That's what it is. That's what it is. It's playing with it today. Let me just double check the exchange charts. Just to double check it. And this is December. We'll be rolling out of that soon. Yeah, that's right. That is right. Right as rain. All right. Might be an adjustment in there. It's hard to say. The high could be higher. That's for sure. Here. End result is that the pressure is on and it's trying to get into the sell. Now the weekly, you can see underneath it looks fine. It's 4 weeks in a buy. And over on J4X, you see the same thing. Right there. You know, holding up well. Matter of fact, it's not even curving yet, but it's way up. 87 now. You know, it's the slow stochastic said 82.5, 83. The green is at 87. So that's pretty hot and heavy. No, it's at 90 now. Look at that. 90.3740. Cool. So that's up pretty good. Now from there, we'll go over to platinum. I'm sure it's doing fine. It has led us up, gave us a false start, but it's led us up. Looking fine there. It's in a daily sell for a day. And get rid of that. So this is the third day now. So the pressure's on there. On a very small scale, it's holding up above the 1,000 mark, coming from the 800 area, no more than 6 weeks ago or 8 weeks ago, something like that. I guess it's 8 weeks ago now, 9 weeks ago. So, and 850 area, no more than 4 weeks ago. And China, like I said, this is the gold of China. As I've said over and over and over again, this is the gold of China. So China's got to figure it out. And we'll see what they do with the 7 trillion situation with Evergrande. And we'll go from there. All right. That is the metals. Now let's go to the energies. And there is crude oil. In this case here, it's North Sea right there. Trading at the 93. It was 92, so it looks like it's trying to lift up a little bit. You can see the weakness. We're already underneath. We've got a red. And let's see what Chicago says. Chicano. Let's see. Go to the window. There's December contract, which we will get rid of on Friday. And we'll start showing you January contract on Monday. And then we'll start showing you March contract for the back month. We'll switch them around. So it'll be January and March we'll be looking at. Now, let's see, where's that beast at? So you can see here on the what is that? It tried to get into a buy, but we had a red dot. And so now we're trying to break down. We've got a volatility thing going on, the red and the green, or red and green. Maybe they're going to find a way to bounce solely because the weekly trend seems to be firm right there. Let's take a look at that, what it looks like on, that's the weekly. See, the weekly is trying to roll over on Brent. Let's see what the daily looks like. And that's rolling over for a couple of days too. But we got the green line above, and we've gotten down to some low areas. Maybe, let's see. It's kind of like the range, the high end of the range really, bounced off of it. We'll see what they do, see how well they hold them up and get rolling into that area. And you can see here on the Texas Sweet Crude there. And let's also slide in the back month, and there is the February contract. Same situation. It's stuck in a, oh, the sell was over here more. There's one there. And so that's in a sell for the last couple of days. And the weekly, as we pointed out with the front month, the back month is doing the same thing. It's trying to lift up. But in this case here, the back month has no interest trying to get into a daily buy at the moment on short term. All right. From there, we'll look at natural gas. Nat gas. Right there, is that it? Oh, I know, that's the stock. So there's the stock of natural gas. And trading in the 26s, it's been as low as 22 and as high as 31. This is the Spanish company that trades natural gas. So we kind of follow the stock to get a flavor of what's going on in Europe. And then, let's see, we can take a look at, where's it at? It's up higher. Right there, there's the gas contract, 580. And let's show it to you what they're doing here in the States with that. Right there. In the 580s area, it's been flatlined. It's been a long weekly, weekly sell. All the way back to September, mid-September, it's been in the weekly sell from the 9.5 area. And then let's take a look at the weekly over here. Right there. And there's the weekly. It is trying to, wasn't a buy for a couple of weeks. Now it's back into the sell. And it did go up in value. You can see that right there. We had that, where's it at? This little hump here, right there. So that's what it was. That's what it's reflecting. So that is the game when it comes to the energy sector. Over here in the States, the heating oil in the northeast of the United States is about almost not a third, but it's close, of population of the country. From, say, Washington, D.C. all the way up to Boston. Let's put that in. Here's the heating oil. Right there. You can see it's trying to get into, was trying to get into a buy today. Now it seems to have backed off a little bit. We'll remove that for the moment. And you can see here the weekly was trying to get into a buy. We can remove that because it's moved out of it again. And, it's kind of hesitating. And it looks like, it really looks like 3 peaks in a dome. Is that right? I'm seeing a 3 peaks in a dome pattern. Let's explore that. Oh, let's get the heating oil in here. Do we have heating oil? There must be heating oil. Have I not looked at heating oil? Let's see. Let's try putting it in there. Let's see what it says. Nah, doesn't have heating oil. Okay. So there's the heating oil, and you can see the strength in it, what it's trying to do or what it might be trying to do. And then here, let me show you this is the gas. Oh, let me do this. Let me save that too while I'm here. While I'm here, let me put that in my pocket. And there it is right there. And let's click on the DocDow there. And then let's take a look at the fuel that goes in the machines that we drive. Right there. There we go. So you see here, it's holding up pretty well. It's still in a weekly buy for, what's that, 7 weeks. and was up to 270. Now it's down to around 250 over the last week and a half. And it was down to 220 back in September. And now, let's see if we can do this. Contract that up. You can see it had exploded well over the $3 area. Got up to, was that 327 back in June. Let's see what else is going on here. Remember, it could be a contango. We don't know what the front month was doing at the time. It could be way higher, because remember, this is a back month, so no one was really thinking about heating oil that importantly. Just like you see the contango in crude oil, where crude, when we go and look at crude oil, let's just do that real quick again, just to remind you what I'm rambling about. You see the front month right there is trading at $86, $86.07 to be exact. And then when we go back 3 months later, it's $84.82. So it's literally $2 and like 20 some odd cents cheaper. No, they're not having to take delivery of it, so there's not much of an issue about it. All right, this is Doc from North America, catching you guys and gals Thursday. So happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you, to all our trading friends. Later, later, traders. Show me the money.